My name is Kirsty Parsons, and I am here to take you from burnt out to thriving. So it's jam-packed. We have got lots in here, but the idea of today is to give you lots of strategies, recognize that you are burning out, and then allowing yourselves to put strategies in place to ensure that you can identify the triggers and make sure that you are thriving, not just surviving. So let's crack on. Let's crack on. Okay, so we're going to be looking at crucial topics, and these are self-reflection, mum guilt, which we are all great at doing, resilience boosting, which I am the master at resilience, setting realistic goals, and reconnecting with you. So where it all began, I've grown up in a blended family with stepbrothers and sisters, and it's enabled me to form really meaningful connections with not only members of my family, but with friends and people that are going through similar situations. I've now got 6 children of my own, 4 stepchildren, and 2 boys with my husband, Lee. I have also been providing care for my stepdaughter, who's got severe disabilities, and I was a carer for 8.5 years. She's now moved into a residential care setting full time. So it means that I've been able to throw myself into looking after me, but also into my business as well. I know how difficult it is to manage all the demands of being a mum and looking after the family and the home and work and self-care. And like I said, I've got a tricky situation at home with my stepdaughter and all the complexities. So actually, I know how much of a struggle it is. Now, what is burnout? Burnout is when you're just exhausted from absolutely everything and you're feeling really disconnected, and you're less effective either at home or at work. And it can come out in numerous different ways. So for me, I was absolutely shattered all of the time. And even after sleeping, I used to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night and I'd wake up at 7 and I'd still feel absolutely exhausted. I'd get easily annoyed, you can get snappy, you can get upset over the really small things. Having trouble focusing on lots of tasks or just making the simplest of decisions can seem massive. Not enjoying the things that you used to like to do. For me, when I'm starting to burn out, I notice that I can't be bothered with the exercise, and actually I absolutely love doing exercise. So that's a sign for me. That's a massive alert. Having lots of headaches, tension headaches, muscle tension, tightness, and for me, troubles with my stomach, IBS. That's a big sign for me. Eating too much, eating too little, and using alcohol as or coffee as a way to cope. And for me, alcohol was a massive thing. I recently was in an article and in Fabulous magazine, and it was about how I turned to alcohol. There was a 2.5 year period where I used alcohol as a crutch and drank way too much because I just wasn't dealing with the issues that I had. Feeling bad about your parenting, questioning your parenting, wondering whether you're doing the right thing. And it's just feeling totally, utterly overwhelmed and struggling to keep on top of it. Okay, so juggling multiple responsibilities. So here are the pressures. We have got so many things to do as a mum, and that doesn't mean that dads don't do it, but with mums, we think about everything. And something that always makes me chuckle, if my husband goes away for a weekend away, I can bet you bottom dollar, all he's worried about is if he's got his passport and if he's got his bag packed. That's all he worries about. When I go away for a girly weekend, I'm worrying about who's going to take the boys to their after school club, whether there's going to be enough food in the house. Do I need to prep some dinners? Whose friends at that house are they going to? I've got so many other things going on. Is there, like I said, is there enough food in the house? Is the washing done? All of those things. So I just think we're wired slightly different. And it becomes a massive juggling act. We have so much to do. We're taxi driver. We're counsellors for our children. You name it, we're doing it. And sometimes we really feel like there's a lack of support and we feel like we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. And I say feel like, because I'll go into it later on in the workshop, but just remember that actually there are a lot of people out there. You just need to remember to ask for help. And sometimes that's the hardest part. And then we've got guilt and self-doubt. We've talked a bit about guilt, but constantly worrying whether you're doing enough, whether you're doing the right things. Then you've got time constraints. My God, I'd love in a 24-hour period for there to be a bit more time in some of the days. You just sometimes feel like there's just not enough. You've got financial pressures. At the moment, obviously, we're at the kind of back end of a recession, but I've noticed massively that my money is being stretched. I'm having to say no to the boys over some things that I wouldn't normally. Some people are really struggling, and I know a lot of people are having to go to food banks. And there's a real pressure about providing for your family and social expectations of, for instance, half term, some of us are on now. You want your children to have the best time, but actually that costs a lot of money. Isolation. You can sometimes feel really isolated as a mum that's burning out and disconnected from friends. And also that's what we do. We pull ourselves away when we're burning out instead of actually going in for that support. It's an emotional strain. Parenting is hard work. Like, it really is hard work, and it can really take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. And then you've got your career concerns. Now, some of you work, some of you don't work, some of you are home with the kiddies, some of you are self-employed, own your own business. Trying to balance all of that with your family and knowing what's right to do and what's the wrong thing to do is tricky, and you question yourselves a lot. So the challenges you've got, I've touched upon these, so I'll just roll through them pretty quickly. So you've got managing the house and sorting the childcare. You're feeling like there's never enough time to relax or take care of yourself. You deal with the unexpected emergencies on top of all the other things. And there's always something thrown in the mix. It can be as simple as you're cracking on with something, and then all of a sudden the school phone and say, Louis forgotten his glasses today. Great, I'll just stop what I'm doing and run out. That's not an emergency, but kind of can't see without them, so he has to have them. Struggling to find affordable childcare or feeling guilty about leaving your children in someone else's care. I've seen a lot of posts recently about parents having to go to school, to work, and unfortunately they are then feeling guilty about having children in childcare from first thing in the morning till last thing at night. You're having to cope with sleep deprivation or sleep disturbances. My eldest, he was amazing after. He slept through from 5 months, an absolute dream. Louis, on the other hand, decided he'd wake up quite a lot, and he still does now. But he'll take himself to the toilet, he'll go back, but I can hear it. You can hear absolutely everything, and that's really disruptive, and it can cause a lot of stress. As I said, trying to maintain a healthy work-life balance. Just so you know, and I say this all the time, I don't actually believe there is a work-life balance. I think that's a load of twaddle. I think there's a balance between work and life that works for you. Sometimes work's going to take over, sometimes life is going to take over, and that's absolutely fine. You should never feel guilty about that. And then also you've got meeting professional expectations. I know somebody that's had to drop out today because she's had a work meeting put in, and I understand that as a mum. You've got, for blended families, separated families, you've got the navigating of the complex co-parenting. Being in a separated and blended family is really quite challenging. So there are a lot of things that you need to navigate there. So why self-reflection matters. We said we'd pick up on self-reflection. Excuse me whilst I just forgot. Now, self-reflection really matters because it helps you to actually identify any triggers that you've got, or the priorities that you need to be putting into place. So for me, as I touched upon, that I stop doing a bit of exercise, or I think, oh, do you know what, I won't go to the gym today. And for me, that's a trigger. That's straight away a trigger that I know I should be going to the gym. If I am now saying to myself, I'm not going to go, something's going on, what is happening? It also allows you to uncover patterns and behaviours that contribute to being overwhelmed. So when we look at that reflecting, what patterns are you seeing? Are you seeing that you're going home and you're having a drink every night, or you're having a drink every other night, and then it creeps up. Are you noticing patterns in that you're going to bed later and later and later, or you're not sleeping properly, or you're overthinking when you go to bed? So start looking at those sorts of behaviors. Are you becoming a bit snappier with your children? Are you becoming snappier with your partner? You need to be really self-aware, and if you are self-aware, it helps you to create a personal self-care plan that suits you. So what do you need to thrive? So for me, I need a good diet, I need plenty of water, I need exercise, I need to be outside, I need to make sure I do that. I don't know if some of you know, but I actually work for the council as well, and I help, I work within early help. Now for me, I knew that I wasn't getting my exercise done in the mornings. So I spoke to my line manager and I said, look, any chance, I work part-time, any chance I can just shift my hours from starting at 9 on a Tuesday and a Thursday to starting at 10 on a Tuesday and Thursday, because then that allowed me to get to the gym. And you know what? Because two things have happened. One, I've been to the gym every single Tuesday and Thursday since I've changed my shifts, but it makes you realize that actually I've been given that opportunity by work to do that, so I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let myself down. So I've reflected. I knew I was becoming miserable because I wasn't doing my workouts. It's dark. I didn't want to be getting up at 6. I've changed my working hours, and not everyone's going to be as helpful as my line manager was. But I said it's really upsetting me. So I've reflected and I've done something about it. So regular self-reflection will reveal activities that you do, people, or situations that absolutely zap your energy, and look out for that. I can be classed as quite cold-hearted at times with some things because, in my opinion, if you are negative all of the time and you are draining me, then I'm going to pull away from that. I've got to a stage in my life, I'm nearly, how old am I? 38. I've got to a stage in my life where I don't need all this negativity, all the drama. I want an easy life. I want to get up. I want to feel happy. I don't want to be stressing about things. So actually, I've started to pull away from those sorts of people. If I'm doing activities that I don't actually enjoy, again, talking about exercise, I used to do HIIT sessions and I used to do mountain climbers, which I absolutely hate. So I thought to myself, why am I doing it? Just stop doing it and do something you do enjoy. You need to, and that goes on to my next point, you need to start prioritizing activities that bring you joy and fulfillment and happiness, because what is life about other than enjoying yourself? It shouldn't all be a slog, okay? And being more self-aware helps you feel more balanced and resilient, I promise you. Because I now self-reflect and I look at the things that are zapping my energy, I've become more resilient because I can say, no, do you know what? I don't need to be doing that. And going on to boosting resilience. So resilience is all about the bounce back, being able to bounce back when times are tough and you can stay strong. So for me, I am known for being a very resilient person. My background and my family life, I've had to be. It's a characteristic that I've really built up, and I'm proud to say I'm really resilient. So it's all about staying positive and seeing challenges as more as an opportunity to grow. And what can you learn from that? Okay, that really crappy situation has happened, but what can you learn from that? Don't sit within the negativity of it. Learn coping skills that will help you to build your resilience. So for me, my coping skills when something goes wrong is I go very quiet for a period of time, and I won't really talk to people. And I know that's not a great way, but for me, it helps me to digest everything. And then I go outside and I get some fresh air. And I sometimes, and I have been known to do it, is very lots of fields around me, and I will go sometimes onto the green and take a little wander, and I will scream at the top of my voice out in the field, and it makes me feel amazing, absolutely amazing. So find coping strategies. Like some people find that actually they'll go for a nice long bath, and that'll help them to forget about what's happened, think about it and move on. I couldn't think of anything worse. But then you've got deep breathing exercises. And I know this works for children as well. But if you breathe in, I don't know, I'm hoping you can see my camera. I can't see myself actually, which is very annoying. You breathe in as you go up and out as you go down. And I do this, and I make myself do this twice, and it really helps. I also let my son do it and make my son do it, and it really works for him. Then you've got to, I spoke about this before, lean on your friends and your family for support. Okay, it's sometimes hard. I don't tend to go to my family very often, but I always go to my friends. Take care of yourself with hobbies and exercise and relaxation. And remember that setbacks are just temporary and they are teaching you something. Okay. Now, my screen has come up with something on there and I can't get rid of it. Anyway, mum guilt. As I said, we are all about, we all suffer with mum guilt in one way or another. We suffer with mum guilt, and it's about feeling inadequate about our parenting decisions or our actions, the amount of time that we can spend with our children, whether we're at work, whether they can go out with friends, what they're eating. And this really stems from social pressures, social media, seeing that everyone's doing this, or half term again, for instance, some of us have to work. And actually, if some of us are working, then we can't take our children out. And then you see everyone doing all these great fun things, but just remember that actually you only see what people want you to see. Okay, that you don't see the rough bits in between. And this is really important that you don't compare yourselves. Okay, because like I said, you only see certain aspects of that in social media. Mum guilt can cause major stress, anxiety, feelings of being inadequate as a parent, and these things we need to break down. So we need to be kind to ourselves. You need to recognize that you're doing the best you possibly can. If you know that you are showing your child or children love and teaching them right from wrong, and they are fed and they are watered and they've got a roof over their head and they're attending school and they're happy children, then be kind to yourself. Okay, you need to set realistic expectations. Okay, perfection is not a thing, it doesn't exist. Okay, so stop trying to be the perfect mum. We are going to shout and we're going to feel bad about it. We are going to be sat there scrolling on our mobile phones, and your child's asking you something, and you're going to all of a sudden think, oh my God, I should be actually listening. You're going to be working and your children are going to have to play on the PlayStation or the Xbox, and you're going to use that as a bit of a timeout for them, and so you can crack on. And that's okay. Okay, because there's no such thing as perfect. And you need to remember that. So the two biggest things, there's no such thing as being perfect, and also be kind to yourself. So goal setting. A lot of people set goals and they're not realistic at all. They're really not realistic. I just want to actually stop there. Look at those two photos. I should be a photographer, I reckon. They are cracking photos. This one at the bottom here on the left, I'll just tell you a bit about my photos. And this one on the bottom left is actually from Hopton in Great Yarmouth. I don't know if you've been, but it's absolutely beautiful there. And I can highly recommend going. So that one I think I took in recently, and it's got lovely beaches. And this one on the top right is actually of Bluebell a viewpoint in Kent, and it's absolutely stunning up there. So I sometimes quite often I take myself up there. So I'm just very proud of those photos. I definitely should be a photographer. Anyway, back to the actual workshop. Setting realistic goals. So you need to set achievable goals. Okay, it's crucial for you to maintain motivation and prevent burnout, because has anyone ever written a to-do list and put so many things on there and actually thought, I need to do all of these things today? So actually, I've got my notes, and on my to-do list, right, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 things on my to-do list that I wrote on Monday that I wanted to achieve by Monday. And then it got to Monday lunch and I hadn't ticked one of them off. It got to Monday lunchtime, I hadn't ticked one of them off. By Monday evening, I ticked one off. And then I thought to myself, Kirsty, you're about to teach a workshop about mum burnout and setting realistic goals, and I haven't done it. So then I sat there and I thought to myself, actually, if I can achieve all of these things by the end of the week, then fab. That's 2 or 3 of those things a day over the week. And you know what? 3 things left. 3 things left on my task to do today, Saturday, and Sunday. And it made me feel so much better that actually I'd made realistic, achievable goals. Stop putting in all these things and then feeling let down because you've not been able to achieve them, because it's just going to hack you off. It's just going to make that feeling worse. Okay. So realistic goals provide a clear direction and a sense of accomplishment. I love, and I'm probably just a weird one, so please put in the chat if you are as daft as me, but I love ticking my my things off, my jobs off. If I have forgotten to put a job down, or I've done a certain job, this is where I'm daft. If I've done a certain job in the day, then I will write it on my list and then tick it there and then. I don't know why I do that. I just do it, and it makes me feel so much better. Because I can look back and think, actually, do you know what? I've done all that. That's amazing. Okay, so they can also help you prioritize tasks effectively, and it helps you from getting overwhelmed. So all those big things that you've been putting off, pop them down on a list, okay? And then what I want you to do is I want you to prioritize them, number them from 1 to 10. What's the most important? Okay, so, oh, there we are, on to the next bit. So strategies, prioritize your tasks based on priority and what's important, okay? Lighten the load. Now, for me, I'm one of these people that is very much, I'm going to do all this. It has to be me. I'm okay. My mother-in-law used to always ask me if she wanted me to do, if she wanted her to do the ironing. And I'd go, no, I don't want you to do my ironing. My ironing pile was like piling right up. And then after about 5 years, I thought, why don't I just say yes? If I'm struggling, why don't I just say yes? So every now and then she'll go, I've seen your ironing pile. Do you want me to do it? And I'll be like, yes, please. Go. And it was stupid because I didn't like the way she folded the clothes. But how else is she going to get the clothes to me? I just unfolded them and hung them up when she got there. But it's simple things like that. My boys are old enough now, so do you know what? They go around and they empty the bins. They 100% do their beds and their curtains and their blinds. Their bedrooms have to be spotless before they leave for school in the morning. In terms of floor spotless. So rather than me doing it, because otherwise I have to come back, or if I'm not coming straight home, I then stress about it that the house is a mess. What other things can you do? Sometimes giving the shopping. I know that your partner might go off on a tangent and not get all the bits that you want off the shopping list, but give him the shopping to do, or ask him, leave the hoover out and ask him to do the hoovering. It's silly things that sometimes they don't even think about it. So just lighten the load and give tasks to other family members. This is important. Schedule regular self-care activities such as exercise, relaxation, hobbies, anything to recharge. As I said to you, couldn't think of anything worse than getting in the bath. That is my biggest hate. But if it works for you, put yourself in the bathroom and just have some time. I was speaking to a client the other day, and work is really stressful. And she has now learnt that actually she's taken herself away and she's putting herself in the bath for an hour. And her partner now knows that if she shuts the door, it means that she's crying and that she does not need to be disturbed. That's her self-care. If she leaves the door ajar, he can go in and out as he pleases. But if the door's shut, that's her time. She needs that. She's having a right good blub and she wants to be on her own. For me, a few weeks ago, going back to the ironing, I had a massive ironing pile. It was doing my head in. I kept seeing it. I knew I needed to have it done. So for me, actually doing my ironing, watching a chick flick, was perfect. It was my little bit of self-care. Don't worry, self-care is not always ironing for me. It's normally my exercise and walking, but that's my bit of self-care. Set boundaries. We are really bad at saying no. Okay, I'm terrible at saying no, but we need to start setting boundaries. If you can't answer somebody straight away, if they say to you, can you do this? Or will you do that? Have you got time for this? And you question yourself, or there is an excuse there straight away, think about why you're not answering yes straight away. Is it because you haven't got the capacity? Is it because you don't want to do it? Is it because, going back to what I said, it's zapping your energy? It's okay to say no. So please start saying no if you haven't got the mental capacity, the physical capacity to do it, okay? Always stay flexible and adjust your plans. I struggle with this one, I'm not going to lie. I don't like adjusting my plans. I've got a bit of OCD and I find it really, really difficult to adjust plans. I like everything a certain way. However, you do have to be a little bit flexible because life throws in lots of different curveballs. And if you're not flexible, you're going to start burning out, and because you're not going to be able to achieve everything. Okay, reconnecting with you. Now, it's really important that you remember to connect with yourself. It's really easy to lose who you are. And a lot of mums struggle with their identity when it comes to when they've been a mum. So to reconnect with yourself, you need to take intentional steps to prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental health. And remember, this is so important. You are more than just mum, wife, partner. For me, I was more than just a carer for Trinity. Okay, you need to remember who you were before you became a mum, and who you were before you became a wife or a carer, and what did you enjoy doing? Because yes, our children are everything to us, but we need to remember to hold on to a little bit of ourselves, and they're going to take a long period of time. It's going to take a long period of time when you've had a baby or they're growing up. They need you, and I'm not saying that you should push away those responsibilities, but remember to take time for yourself. Okay, reconnecting with yourself also means taking a breather and doing things that make you happy. So what makes you happy? Think about the things that make you happy. What make you tick? What brings a smile to your face? Okay, you need to be pressing the reset button, and like I said, tuning into what makes you tick, what is going to make you feel alive again. Because sometimes when you're really burnt out, I've been through a period of time where I didn't want to get out of bed. I'd just lay around on the sofa watching rubbish on the TV, and I needed something to boost me back up, bring me back to life. Okay, so by reconnecting with yourself, it helps you feel more grounded. It definitely makes you feel happier, and it makes you ready to tackle whatever comes your way. If you can reconnect to you and your values and your beliefs, then I promise you it will help you build your resilience as well. And I think sometimes when you're a mum, it's sometimes easier to let things slip a little bit because you're exhausted, and you sometimes forget your values and your beliefs because it's easier, like I said, to let the kids do something. But actually, you don't want to then start feeling guilty that you've lost exactly who you are. So it will make you feel happier. And like I said, it will make you become more resilient. So we're getting towards the end now. Well, we are at the end now. But remember that mum guilt, building resilience, self-care, these are all the things that we need to be thinking about. And positive changes can happen if everything that we've talked about in the workshop you start to implement. Okay, and there are strategies in there, and what you'll find is you will have improved well-being, you will have personal development, you'll have more enjoyment, more fulfillment, you'll have better relationships, and you'll have increased productivity. Okay, so for me, after I came out of a bit of a blip with my burnout, I talk quite openly. Like I said at the start, I really turned to alcohol, which I shouldn't have done. But at the time, it was a coping mechanism, and it got too much. I was drinking way too much, and I was drinking what started off as a bottle of wine, then went to a couple of ciders, then a bottle of wine, and then sometimes on the weekend it was a couple of ciders, a bottle of wine, and then onto the gin or the vodka. I was drinking a lot, and then I'd get up the next day and I'd be functioning. And it just become more and more excessive. I'm 420, 418, something like that, days alcohol free now. I feel absolutely bloody amazing for it. But I've got myself out of that burnout. I've got myself out of that rut. And it took me a long time to get myself out of there, but I'm there. And I now exercise regularly. I'm happier. Personally, like I said, I've got rid of the alcohol. My skin feels so much better. My body feels so much better. I've lost weight. I've I find more enjoyment in, it sounds stupid, I find more enjoyment now with talking to people. I Before, I always used to be thinking about going home and having a drink, or when I was talking to people, I'd be thinking about all the drama that I had going on in my life, because I wasn't saying no, I wasn't getting rid of those negative people and situations. So now I've got so much more enjoyment in my life. My relationships are so much better. My relationships with my boys are amazing. I've got more time, more energy to focus on them and what they need. And increased productivity. Well, in the last year, I have set up 2 businesses. I work in pockets of time instead of drinking alcohol of a night time. I'm now, when the boys go to bed, I'm now doing some work. I stayed up last night till 12 o'clock, maybe, titivating with this and getting ready for some emails to be sent out. But it's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that, because actually I've spent time with the boys during the day and I've done my work. So I've got the balance that's right for me. So there are positive changes. And for me, like I said, my biggest issue was the turning to alcohol as a crutch and not speaking to my friends. My best mate is on this call, and she didn't know the half of what was going on. And I wasn't turning to friends, and now I'm so much better for it, because I've just changed. I've put these strategies into place. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because I've been there, I've done it. I was in a really low place, and actually I want to be able to help you guys, and I want you to be able to realize that there is a way forward. You don't have to stay in this situation. So I should have said this at the start, but I forgot, and my apologies. I am going to be now letting you know about a new program. So what next? I have got the Signs Group program, and it's for somebody that's ready to take the next step in their journey to overcoming burnout. So if you have listened to today's workshop and you've realized that actually I'm not doing this, I'm not looking after myself, I've completely lost who I am, I'm pulling away from everybody, I'm exhausted, then this is the program for you. And I was going to do this on a one-to-one program, but actually I want the community of the mums. I want you all to bounce off ideas. I want you to know comparison is a big thing, and I want you to know that actually there are other mums out there that are doing this, that are feeling the way that you're feeling, and actually we can all talk and speak openly and not have any judgment. So the Signs program, what does it stand for? Self-care, identity, guilt-free living, no more mum guilt, no comparisons, and then a support network. So they're the 5 things that we really focus on. So the program structure is going to be a 6 weekly group. Should I start that again? It's not right. You're going to get a call once a week for 6 weeks via Zoom. Okay. And it's all going to be about engaging discussions, and there's going to be tasks I'm going to put in there. There's going to be exercises. It's going to be addressing real life mum challenges. So everything that we are facing, it's going to be addressing. And there will be weekly workbooks to help you keep you motivated and on track, and start to look at, I'll put things in there where you can start to identify your triggers. And there will be strategies of how you can move forward. It's going to be a private Facebook community, so you can, like I said, bounce off all your ideas. And if you're having a really pants day, then come in there and shout about it, because I want to hear it, and I want all of us to big you up, okay, and help you move forward. So we'll also explore aspects of growth. So as I said, identify your triggers, figure out what's stressing you out and how you can handle it. We want to reframe some of your thoughts, because sometimes when you're so burnt out, everything is just ugh, everything is just bad. It's just not good. So we need to turn all those negative thoughts and feelings into positive ones to help you grow as a person. We're going to build support. We're going to, like I said, I wasn't great at reaching out for support. So I want you to lean on the mums that we've got in the group, but I also will work upon who you've got in your network that you could get support from. Okay, so it's all about encouraging and understanding, setting realistic goals. So if there's something that you want to achieve, we're going to figure out how you're going to get there. Okay, and we're going to make goals that can be actually achieved, not just put down on a list and then not actually ever ticked off. We want you to feel good about it. Assertive communication. So this goes back to learning to say no when you need to stand up for yourself and be confident. Sometimes people feel so they might feel threatened or uncomfortable about saying no, and I'm going to teach you that how to say no, and I'm going to teach you a professional way to say no, but also if you're in business, or just how to speak to family and friends if you don't want to do something. Okay, self-understanding. What makes you tick? Okay, let's think about your strengths, your passions, your values. Let's see if we've lost any of those where you are now, and get you back to where you should be. And then resilience building. You can't have enough resilience. So when life throws curveballs at you, we're going to help you bounce back, and we're going to help you get stronger.